Hello and welcome back to this awesome new season of Cosmic Kingdom, of your Cosmic Kingdom. So today is the start of a new season, as any beginning is exciting and somehow fearful, because so far there are more than 80 episodes out there. Today I'm going to talk about climate change and why are these big hurricanes happening right now. We have seen on the news during the last 2 weeks. I was actually going to do this episode about the hurricane that happened in Texas last week, but you see there is another one, and this one is massive. So what is going on? Why are these things happening? First of all, we need to talk a little bit about radioactive balance, and to do that, before we need to talk about equilibrium. And I have here this bowl and this bowl just to talk a little bit about equilibrium.
This is an example of a stable equilibrium. So if I hit the ball will remain on the recipient and end up in the initial position or close to the initial position. You can hit the ball in many directions and we can say that this system is in balance equilibrium because the ball always remains to the central position, more or less. Only if we hit it hard, not even that hard, let's try again. Only now the ball leaves the recipient. On the other hand, is an example of an unstable equilibrium. What happens here? Even the slightest perturbation just me blowing onto the ball, just that causes the system to lose its position, and it will never return then. What is important is just small changes will change the way the ball leaves the system.
The problem with the radioactive equilibrium in the atmosphere is that the radiation, imagine this is the surface of the Earth, the radiation that is hitting the Earth and the radiation that is getting away from the Earth is more like the same. You need to do a lot of studies, study the transference spectra of the air, etc. But just to, in layman words, it's like very, very much the same. And the problem is that we are in one of these situations here where this is a very unstable equilibrium. That means that if the sun emits more radiation, or if the Earth's atmosphere becomes thicker and therefore radiation cannot escape, then we are in trouble. So this has been said for more than 20 years. Even myself was a little bit skeptical because this is a political issue. So it's difficult to separate these things, the science part of this, with the political part of this. And that's why I wasn't a skeptic. But you know what? As they say during the eclipse, it's the same physics that predicts the eclipse. It's predicting that we are harming our environment. And we need to do something. Not only because it's the proper or right thing to do, but because of this. Because then you have 300 kilometers per hour winds just destroying everything everything on their way. And the problem is that we have been emitting pollution to the air, and this pollution is what is preventing the radiation escaping from the Earth. And therefore, there is more energy in the system. And because there is more energy in the system, you can have bigger storms. And then people have problems, and people may die also. So think about this. This is not an issue that we have now news coverage everywhere with our phones. This is probably one of the biggest storms I have ever heard of. I never heard like 300 kilometers, like more than 200 miles per hour winds ever. Normally it's 180 kilometers or something like that. Maybe there is, but I don't have my memory. I don't have any memory of this. So we need to do something. And the first thing we need to start doing is stop negating it. There's this guy called Hansen, He's one of the first scientists that was talking, back then was global warming, and he testified in the Congress of the United States in 1988, almost 30 years ago. 99% of the scientific community is saying that it's going to be a climate change. And there is these people, I know that we have enough of experts, but when you have a cancer, I want to go to a doctor. I don't want to go to a fireman. And if I have a fire in my house, I prefer the fireman coming rather than the oncologist. Seems common sense, but sometimes I feel that we are losing that common sense. So that's it. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you will enjoy my next season. It's a pleasure to be with you guys every single week. So see you next week, guys. Bye-bye.